My family tried to force me into marrying an old millionaire to save their business, so I exposed their greed and cut them off for good. I'm 26F, and I've always known my family has a thing for appearances and money. Growing up, it was like a constant competition. Who had the best car, the most expensive clothes, the fanciest vacations? My sister, who's 30, leaned into it hard. She married a rich surgeon and basically became the poster child for everything my parents wanted. Meanwhile, I've been the black sheep because I don't care about that stuff. I'm with Jake, my boyfriend of 3 years, who's a schoolteacher. He's hardworking, sweet, and everything I want in a partner. But because he doesn't make a ton of money, my family treats him like dirt. For years, they've been passive-aggressive about Jake. My mom once said, "It's nice that he's passionate about teaching, but do you ever think about what your future will look like?" My dad's more direct. "When are you going to find someone who can actually take care of you?" They've even tried to involve Jake in their nonsense, like the time my dad told him he should pitch in for a family vacation home renovation. "It's a sign of commitment," he said. Jake just smiled politely and said, "I'm saving for something bigger." That's been the dynamic for years. I deal with their comments, tell them off when it gets too much, and move on. But a few weeks ago, they crossed a line I can't come back from. My mom called me out of nowhere, inviting me to a family dinner. She sounded cheerful, overly so, which was weird because she's usually passive-aggressive about everything. She said they wanted to talk about something important. Jake couldn't make it because he was working late, so I went alone. I figured it'd just be the usual awkwardness. When I got there, the vibe was off. My parents had gone all out, fancy table settings, expensive wine, the works. My sister was sitting there in this ridiculous designer dress, giving me this smug look. Then I noticed the extra plate. My mom smiled and said, "We invited someone special tonight." That's when Richard walked in. He was in his 50s, wearing a suit that probably cost more than my car, and acting like he owned the place. My dad introduced him as a self-made millionaire. They kept going on about how successful he was, how generous, how he's been looking for the right person to settle down with. I just sat there staring at them like, what the hell is happening? Then it hit me. They were trying to set me up with this guy. I couldn't believe it. They knew I was with Jake. We'd been together for years, and they were sitting here acting like I was some single bachelorette auditioning for a rich husband. I tried to play it cool at first. I said, "I'm not sure what this has to do with me." My mom, still smiling like a lunatic, said, "Well, we thought you might want to keep your options open. Richard's very interested in meeting someone serious, and we think you two could be a great match." I looked at my dad, hoping he'd back me up. Instead, he said, "You deserve someone who can give you the life you've always wanted. Jake's a nice guy, but he's not going to get you there." I was furious. I said, "Jake and I are happy. I don't need anyone else." That's when Richard chimed in, completely unfazed. "I've spoken with your parents, and I'd be happy to support them financially if you and I hit it off." That's when I realized this wasn't just about them liking Richard. This was a deal. My parents were trying to trade me off to this guy to save my dad's failing business. It was disgusting. I turned to my mom and said, "So this is it? You're trying to sell me off to save dad's business?" She had the audacity to look offended. "It's not like that," she said. "We're just looking out for your future." My sister jumped in, saying, "Jake's fine for now, but long-term? Be realistic. You deserve better than a guy who barely makes ends meet." I stood up and said, "I'm not doing this. This is insane." My dad got defensive, saying, "We're trying to help you. You're throwing away an opportunity most people would kill for." I said, "I'm not most people. And I'm not for sale." I grabbed my bag and was about to leave when my sister stopped me. She smirked and said, "We already talked to Jake about this. He knows he's not good enough for you." I froze. "What do you mean you talked to Jake?" She shrugged and said, "We told him it was time to let you go so you could find someone better. He didn't take it well, but we figured he'd step aside if he really loved you." Hearing that made me snap. I turned back to my parents and said, "You went behind my back and tried to bribe my boyfriend to break up with me? You seriously thought I wouldn't find out?" My mom tried to calm me down, saying, "We were just trying to do what's best for you." I said, "No. You were trying to do what's best for yourselves." Then I walked out. When I got to Jake's place, I told him everything. He admitted they'd approached him weeks ago, offering him money to break up with me. He told them to shove it, but he didn't tell me because he didn't want to upset me. I felt sick. This wasn't just about them not liking Jake. This was about control. They couldn't stand that I was living my life on my terms, so they tried to sabotage it. The next day, I texted my parents and sister in the family group chat, saying, "I know what you did. Don't contact me again." My mom called me repeatedly, leaving voicemails about how I was being ungrateful and tearing the family apart. My dad texted me saying I was being dramatic and should apologize for embarrassing them in front of Richard. My sister just sent me a thumbs down emoji. I blocked all of them. For a few weeks after that dinner, things were quiet. Then the nonsense started again. My mom showed up at my apartment unannounced one afternoon, acting like nothing had happened. She had this big fake smile and said, "Let's put all this behind us. We're family and family sticks together." I told her she had 5 minutes to explain why she thought it was okay to try and manipulate my relationship. She didn't even apologize. Instead, she started talking about how sometimes parents have to make hard decisions for their kids, even if they don't understand it right away. I told her, "I'm 26. I don't need you making decisions for me." She tried to guilt-trip me, saying, "After everything we've done for you, this is how you treat us?" I told her to leave and not come back unless she was ready to take responsibility for her actions. She stormed out, calling me disrespectful under her breath. Then my sister started in. She began posting passive-aggressive things on social media about how some people are ungrateful for the opportunities they're given and money can't buy class. She even posted an old picture of us as kids with a caption about how she missed when family meant everything. A few mutual friends reached out, asking what was going on, and I just told them the truth. My family tried to sell me off to a rich guy to fix their financial problems. That shut down most of the curiosity. The worst part was when my parents tried to ruin my engagement announcement. Jake proposed a few months after the dinner, and it was perfect. He planned a quiet evening at home, just the two of us, with a heartfelt speech about how much he loved me. I said yes, obviously. We posted a picture of the ring, and most people were thrilled for us, except my family. My mom commented, "Congratulations, I guess," while my sister wrote, "Well, at least she's happy, even if her standards are unique." I deleted their comments and didn't respond. A week later, my mom called, demanding to know why she wasn't invited to the engagement dinner we were having with close friends. I told her, "You're not welcome at any celebration of my relationship when you've done everything you can to destroy it." She acted shocked and said, "I'm your mother. You can't cut me out like this." I told her, "Watch me." A few months later, during wedding planning, they tried one last stunt. My mom and sister showed up uninvited to a bridal boutique appointment. They started critiquing everything, my dress choices, the venue, even the guest list. My mom said, "You can't seriously be thinking about wearing that. It's so plain. You need something more extravagant." My sister added, "You're going to regret not going all out. It's your one chance to show everyone you're better than they think." I told them, "This isn't about impressing anyone. It's about Jake and me." They didn't get it. My mom started ranting about how my choices were an embarrassment to the family and how I was throwing away a chance to have a real wedding. I asked the boutique staff to escort them out, and they did, but not before my mom loudly announced, "You'll regret this when you're older." The final straw came when they tried to turn the extended family against me. At a family gathering I wasn't even invited to, they told everyone I was brainwashed by Jake and that he was controlling me. They painted themselves as victims, saying I'd abandoned them after everything they'd done for me. A cousin called me later, saying, "Your mom made it sound like Jake's this manipulative guy who's isolating you." I sent her screenshots of their texts about Richard and told her the whole story. Word spread, and most people sided with me, though a few still thought I should forgive and forget. I didn't. I couldn't. I realized my family wasn't going to change, and staying in contact with them would only bring more chaos into my life. So I cut them off completely. It wasn't easy, but it was the best decision I've ever made. Now, Jake and I are happily married, and I don't miss the drama one bit. My family still tries to reach out occasionally, sending emails or messages through mutual relatives, but I ignore them. I've built a life that's peaceful, supportive, and full of love. Everything they tried to take away from me. And I'm never going back.